If you have a pet reptile and you haven't been sure about what to feed it, I'm about to make your life way easier. Let me break it down for you. There's a few categories of reptiles. You need to decide, do you have a carnivore? Do you have an herbivore? Or do you have an omnivore? Carnivores are meat eaters. Mostly snakes, they're going to eat mice or rats. The only thing I need to say about that is please, for goodness sake, feed a dead prey animal to your snake. The snake can get injured and it's not kind to the mouse or the rat either. Let's move on to the herbivores and the omnivores. There's many different kinds, and a strict herbivore is only going to eat green things. Your omnivore is going to eat some plant matter and some animal matter. But the basics are all the same. A lot of people think of green stuff and only think of something like romaine lettuce. If you take a look, there's so many different kinds of greens that you can choose from. The key is dark green and leafy is usually very healthy, and even different kinds of herbs that are available at the grocery store can be included in that dark green and leafy category. Then you think, okay, maybe vegetables as well. So different species require different amounts of vegetables in combination with the greens. So here we have broccoli and beans, okra, zucchini, there's all kinds. Then you have to figure out, do they have fruit? So here we have, for example, figs and papaya, peaches, apples, strawberries, bananas. You just have to know what percentage of fruit in the diet is normal for your type of reptile. Other reptiles, such as sulcata tortoises, are going to eat a lot of grass in their diet. In fact, 90% of their diet is grasses. If your animal is not grazing, you may need to supplement with something like Timothy hay that you can chop up and put in your salad. So that covers our herbivores. If you have an omnivore, you have to decide, are they eating mostly insects as their animal matter or animals? And when you talk about insects, there's all kinds of different worms, and the worms can come in different sizes. What I have here are actually super worms, because they're really quite big, but there's smaller worms and even bigger than these available. Just a little other word about the worms. If you have bearded dragons at home, a wonderful tip is to use this size glass bowl for two reasons. One, the little guys can't escape from the bowl, and two, if you notice, it's a clear bowl. So when we put the worms inside, your bearded dragon can see that movement activity and know, one, that there's worms in there, and two, the movement will stimulate their appetite and they'll be much more happy to eat them. Now you've figured out which category your reptile comes in. I'm going to make your life even easier. Once you know what they eat, at the beginning of the week, you can take all of the produce that suits their need and you can change it up week to week. You're going to wash and prep everything, chop it up, and just pay attention to size. If you have a bearded dragon, you're going to chop smaller than if you have a large green iguana. You take all of the food that we've talked about, chop it up, mix it in a nice big bowl. And then the last part of preparing the diet is adding some kind of supplement. We have an example here of a multivitamin powder and also a calcium powder. So when you have your big bowl of lovely greens and possibly vegetables and fruit and worms, depending on which kind of reptile you have, you add your supplements, give it all a good shake, and voila, you have a meal for your reptile that you can store in the fridge all week and serve an appropriate portion daily. Doesn't get easier than that.